Good morning, everyone, and happy almost spring. It is March 5th, and it's feeling warm outside in the Baltimore area. I hope it's warming up where you are. One thing I can guarantee is the days are getting longer, and that's making our fish come into places that are more accessible to you. So I hope you're getting out there and catching some yellow perch, some white perch, maybe getting out there on the bay to pursue some big striped bass. Remember that as of March 1st, the tributaries where the striped bass stage and spawn have been closed and will remain closed until the spawning is complete in May. And so we'll have that dynamic changing calendar continue this spring as we do each spring in the Chesapeake Bay. There are no specific changes for the 2025 fishery at this point, but I'm going to talk a little bit later about what's coming on striped bass, menhaden, and some other important fisheries because there's always change afoot. So ultimately, I want to say thank you so much to our Southern Maryland Banquet, our staff team, and our volunteers that just absolutely knocked it out of the park on February 2nd down at the Calvert Marine Museum. If you're seeing this stuff happen from somewhere else in the state and you're wondering how you can get it done right in your neck of the woods, well, we can do it. We can work together and support conservation for the future, support our advocacy work and our habitat work throughout the state, and connecting people with fishing. If you haven't seen what CCA does before, please get signed up, follow all our stuff. Check us out on social media. Here's some contacts below. And if you look at the scrolling banner at the bottom there, you can email our team at information@ccamd.org or check out all of our events at our website. So I'm going to click over there and give you an update on some things that are going on and where you can find information. But again, social media is the best way to stay in touch with us and have up-to-date information throughout each week. I'll do these videos once a month. And then Jesse Howe, our assistant director, leads the communication and our emails to our local chapters around our state. So there's many ways to get involved, but our website's always the great spot to go. And so you'll see scrolling across the screen here some different things. First, I want to highlight the Pickerel Championship. So the Pickerel Championship just closed on Friday, and I clicked it here, and it will pop up with our results. So ultimately, the Pickerel Championship started last November. We've had folks fishing for 4 months. Of course, there's been some ice, some hard water to deal with. And so less catches more recently, but lots of really good catches out there. And congratulations to the folks that were able to put up some great catches throughout the winter and win some prizes. The Anglers Night Out in Annapolis next week will be the awards ceremony for this on the 12th. And so with Carl Childers, congratulations for the longest 3-fish stringer. And Miles Bruno, a youth angler who signed up to compete with the adults, got the longest pickerel, which is a non-tidal pickerel at 26.5 inches. Herb Floyd, 22.5 at the longest short caught. Carl Childers at 26 inches from a longest kayak caught fish. I'm pretty sure his stringer was all caught by a kayak. Now we have a top lady angler at 24 3/4 with Amy Fisher. Dylan Talley with the longest fly caught fish, 23 3/4. And remember, a chain pickerel citation size is 24 inches. So as you see all of these nice sized fish over 24 inches, know that these are top notch and available for you as anglers, but not as easy to catch as you might think. And of course, right now we're not pursuing pickerel as they prepare to spawn. Anyway, longest youth caught, Miles Bruno, 26.5. Longest crappie at 14 inches with Herb Floyd. And no surprise to see Kayla Hale, a true pro, catching the longest perch, which I think was a yellow perch, and probably a beautiful one at that. So congrats to everyone for their awards. Again, we will reward them at the next Anglers Night, and you don't have to be there to get your trophy from Blue Water Copper Works or your other prizes from our great sponsors. We also have some Calcutta results to share. Grand Slam, Zach Ditmars from Fish Talk Magazine. Great work, Zach. You got all 4 species for 70.5 inches in your Grand Slam. Tim Elliott with the 26-inch longest tidal pickerel. Miles Bruno with the longest non-tidal, 26.5. And Sean Kimbrough with the nice bass at 21.5. So those are our results, and they are preliminary. And so if you see any issues with anything and you're a participant and you say, hey, wait, that's not right, please let us know. Hit the email at the bottom there, and we will get that taken care of just in case, because judges make mistakes too. But ultimately, this has been a great event. We're look forward to carrying throughout the winter, and hopefully next year we can have a little bit better weather and less ice. But hey, maybe it's just for the diehard anglers. So also we have the Great Chesapeake Invasives Count, which continues to happen through the end of this month and then restarts again April 1st. And so we're going to have a lot of great ways to stay involved and promote people out there catching blue cat, snakeheads, flathead catfish. Obviously, there's a lot of great fishing opportunities around the watershed that we want to highlight. And we want to reward you for participating in data collection. And every new year we restart this event. We come up with new ideas and new ways to benefit our anglers, but also connect more people to invasive species. One thing we have on tap this year is the DC Boat Show the first weekend of May. And I'll be highlighting a lot of the opportunities to catch fish along the Potomac with some great partners down there. And then we'll also be highlighting some stuff this spring up in the upper part of the bay soon that I'll talk about soon. And so the last piece you see scrolling across the screen here was the Life Member campaign. We actually had 3 new Life members join us at the Southern Maryland banquet, so thank you to those folks. This is an opportunity for somebody to make a donation to CCA. There it is. And along with your donation, we're giving you a gift back thanks to our partnership with Blackstone Griddles. And so you get a nice cooking implement of different types for making a donation to CCA. So consider that throughout the year. We also have quarterly options for giving donations. And then really our upcoming events are where we're going to connect with our chapters the most. And so I want to highlight our calendar. The general categories can all be clicked right here. I definitely want to highlight the other fundraising events that are coming up because we want our local chapters and members to be involved. And as I said earlier, if you're seeing things happen in a certain region that you'd like to have happen in your area, it's a matter of just sending a note, giving a shout, saying, how can we work together? So upcoming this Saturday, we have the Save a Fish, Build a Reef fundraiser, the 22nd annual in Northern Virginia. And we work hand in hand with them to deploy reefs in the Chesapeake, in Virginia waters and Maryland waters, then also advocate on behalf of the issues that matter Chesapeake Bay wide. So we're so proud to have our partners in Northern Virginia. Why don't you check out that event this weekend if you have some time? And if not, the Kent Narrows banquet is coming up on Saturday 22nd, the Build Your Next Fishing Spot fundraiser. You know, we started building the Hollicut's Noose Reef, adding 140 reef balls to it at the end of last year, and we've got some other great projects in the Mid-Bay region, around the Kent Island area, the Chester River, Eastern Bay, et cetera, coming up. And so this is your way to support that and get more involved in the chapter. This is the chapter I found that brought me to CCA many, many years ago. And it's a great hub and, of course, a great area for fishing. So come on out, get involved at the Kent Narrows banquet. And then our central chapter, where the Living Reef Action Campaign started just about 10 years ago, just shy of 10 years ago. The Central region has been having a fantastic annual celebration of conservation. So we want more people getting involved. If you're from Central Maryland, come on out to our happy hour on tomorrow night, the 6th. And we will be able to connect and get more folks involved in the Central region. And then you can see Annapolis is the last banquet we have on the calendar. And so these are our fundraising banquets. These are a core part of making sure we have the funds to do the work we're doing. But also it's more than that. It's about bringing community together and making sure that folks have a voice and actually can see a path towards making a difference in their local community. I want to highlight, of course, our Habitat program. I mentioned the Living Reef Action Campaign is just shy of 10 years old now, started in Carroll County. And for the last 4 years, we've worked with every single fifth grader in Calvert County. And for 10 years now, worked with most of the fourth graders in Carroll County. So a great legacy of this program so far. And we're asking for your support right here on Habitat Today, Fish Tomorrow. If you click here and donate today, you can actually support our ability to grow this program to the Eastern Shore or one of our specific projects that you're going to see more about here soon. Ultimately, you can donate right here to Noah's Reef or click that drop down and pick the Living Reef Action Campaign as a whole. Just donate to the general program because you support that work. We also have the Eastern Shore Reef Ball Building Trailer. We have a ways to go to meet our goal, but we're going to get there. And we have the initial donations we have thanks to the volunteers that sparked this idea and said, you know what, for years now, we need to have better capacity on the Eastern Shore to work with some of our partners. But on the flip side, we don't have as many active chapters on the Eastern Shore. And so we put together this campaign led off by Jim Talbot from Gillespie Concrete. I want to thank them so much for energizing their industry and trying to get folks more involved, because obviously we want kids learning these important trade skills, working their way up and connecting them to fishing and boating in the waterways. If that's so Eastern Shore right there, and that's what we need. So ultimately, we've always provided service to the Eastern Shore wherever we can. You can see some of the pictures here, but we're going to continue to try and grow that capacity through this campaign. So if you want to find out more about how you can help, let us know. We will be building reef balls on the shore before and after this trailer is funded. And so this isn't a matter of just getting there before we're going to work with that region. We do work with the Eastern Shore and already have some reef ball builds planned this year. But that's your chance to help out with that specific program. And then ultimately, we've got a lot of banquets coming up. We've got a lot of reef ball building coming up. Look on the calendar, and if you're interested in volunteering in a reef ball build, Calvert County may be your best option. They have a great system. You fill it out, you go through the school system, they approve you, and that way we make sure we have the right authorized volunteers out there working with the students and our team. And you can reach out again via the email if you're interested and have some trouble figuring out how you can volunteer. Of course, we have sponsored reef ball builds as well throughout the year. And so if you're interested in doing that, just please get in touch with us and we will work through that with you and try and find an ideal date and location and other details for you to be able to support us and us to be able to deliver a great project for your group of folks that you want to organize. And ultimately, again, they all go into the bay. So last year we did 8 different deployments of reef balls that CCA built. and we're looking to do a bunch more this year. We have some on tap for the spring for the mouth of the Choptank River at Clint Waters Reef, Cooks Point. That is our first target of the year. And then ultimately, we're looking at what do we do in the Potomac River as some permits hopefully get updated down there. We started staging some reef balls for the mouth of the Potomac. And then ultimately, we look at all the other sites around the bay and try and identify and prioritize what we can place in partnership with the Maryland Artificial Reef Initiative. So another important part of the work that we're doing and you can support by being a member of CCA. Let me finish out with explaining some of the advocacy stuff going on right now. There's some important things happening. As I talk, there's actually a Menhaden work group happening at ASMFC. And so I want to highlight that first. This is something that Dr. Allison Colden has been participating in on behalf of the state of Maryland, or at least the legislative seat, which I share with her at ASMFC. So kudos to her for making sure that there's a proactive and a precautionary approach being considered in how we allow harvest of Menhaden in the Chesapeake Bay. We've known for so long that the levels of harvest coming out of the bay from the industrial reduction fishery are not matched with Chesapeake Bay science. We use coastwide science to determine a total catch, and then ultimately the Chesapeake Bay allows 51,000 metric tons to be removed from the bay as a cap. And that's a lot of Menhaden that can provide so much support. And so this work group is an organization or a group of states talking through what are some of the precautionary management options that could be considered and much more. Of course, the conversations you'll hear on these work groups are no different than what you hear in the political sphere of Menhaden. And I've got an important update on that front as well. Ultimately, the Virginia General Assembly and the Virginia leadership for years has been talking about, can we advance better science in the state of Virginia through the Virginia Institute of Marine Science? You know, the very reason that that entity is set up to help manage resources through the VMRC, you know, professional scientists, academic and government scientists working together to try and identify a, you know, fair and impartial way of looking at what's happening with Menhaden in the Chesapeake Bay. You know, that work has been talked about and talked about and talked about. And I'll give you one guess who's gotten in the way of it every single time. Every single time that an opportunity to fund and advance science on a Chesapeake Bay level has come up, the industry and their powerful lobbyists have stepped in to say, no, stop, stop, stop. They bring up things like workers' rights and all these other issues, but it should be a really simple question. What's in the water? How much can we reasonably take out? And are we looking at it at the right scale? The answer is no, we're not right now, but we can very simply, especially if the industry participates. So they go back and forth all the time, claim they'll support it, then at the last minute use their political power to remove any opportunity for Virginia-based science or Chesapeake-based science. And so as a board member with on so many of the species that at the Atlantic States Marine Fisheries Commission, which really matter to our greater coast, I really care about this issue. You know, our members care about this issue. The general public cares about this issue. And just thinking about it logically, it makes no sense to block science in the Chesapeake Bay. And unfortunately, it continues. So Virginians, Marylanders, everyone on the coast, it's time to continue to stand up on this important issue and push to make sure that there's transparency, there's honesty, and there's an opportunity for science to at least guide managers in making big decisions about how much Menhaden is removed from the bay. Our pound netters, our bait fishery in the bay, saw record low numbers last year, low abundance of catchable fish, and that impacts them, that impacts their local communities, it impacts the crab fisheries, where they can sell their bait, how much bait they have to sell. And there's entire communities in Maryland that are really reliant upon small fisheries or big fisheries like crab and Menhaden. And so we're getting cut off at the mouth of the bay, and it's time that more is done. So hopefully the work group that's meeting right now can come up with some more progress. And hopefully Virginians, you know, you have an election this fall, and so you have an opportunity to maybe pick some new leaders or at least get engaged with current leaders for them to realize how important it is to you, no matter where you live in the Commonwealth. I think we can strike a balance of continued harvest in the bay. It just must be guided by science and political will and the rules that exist in the Commonwealth that I think unfortunately are being ignored. So that's my Menhaden rant for right now. Some other important issues here. The ASMFC has a brand new website I'm happy to highlight here. And here's some of the get involved section. And so the action tracker is right here on the top header. We also added this to our link tree at CCA, so you can find that in our link tree and always go right to it and understand what pending actions may exist on a coastwide level. We also have, of course, Maryland DNR stuff, which I'll talk about another time. But I think this is a great layout, and it helps you understand what's going on out there. So just yesterday, there was a hearing on recreational sector separation and data collection. I heard some Marylanders weigh in on that. One was Lenny Rudo, so kudos to weighing in on this important issue. There's another hearing tonight virtually. And if you click here on this issue, you'll be able to scroll down and learn all the different details. you can check out the hearing information, the schedules. Again, tonight at 6 p.m. is the last hearing, but there's the presentation and recording of previous hearings here on the website too. So if you can't make that meeting, you can get informed and provide your opinions. CCA will be weighing in on this with our regional partners and our coalition. Ultimately, there's a lot of different details of the right way and the wrong way that we could do sector separation or improve data collection. And in the end, my perspective is we're all one recreational fishery, and we should be finding ways to solidify the recreational fishery and the public's access through to the water through recreational fishing. And when we create winners and losers and different limits for different people, I think we have some serious challenges. And unfortunately, we don't have great data systems that can back up these decisions. So lots of times it's just political decisions, not based on accurate information, and a frustrating topic. And so it's important that the commission and the council are working through this jointly, because that's what it takes: deliberation, transparency, and engagement by people to make sure that we can shape our fisheries into the future. And I'll continue to enter into this topic with an open mind, looking to the health of the resource and anglers' access to it, as we do every day at CCA. And so there's also some undergoing some striped bass stuff happening right now that's important to look at. And so at the May meeting of the ASMFC, we should be reviewing public or a document to set out for public comment. So come late spring, early summer, we'll be having a public comment period on an addendum to possibly change striped bass measures in 2026. Maryland DNR is gone ahead and is organizing a committee of all different stakeholders from all different sides, including all the ASMFC board members. And we'll be having a couple of public meetings that we will highlight later this month. And they will be talking about kind of the Maryland perspective, and do we have a chance to reset various things at this moment through ASMFC, or do we not? And what are the sort of things that our stakeholders want? And so you'll see representation from for hire captains, charter boats, smaller boats, other groups that just represent general stakeholders, commercial fishermen. I'll be there as a board member, so on and so forth. And so we'll be having these meetings to try and shape Maryland's perspective of Addendum 3, and then later will be the coast-wide discussion, public comment period, and everything else that can help shape next year. And then again, this spring, we look to striped bass and hope that we can see some positive spawning happen. We will find that information out later this year. But we've had a wetter winter than normal. We've had a little colder winter than recent times, but we're still in a drought period. And so, the jury is out. We won't know until the teams in the field continue to go out throughout the summer, and then really announce the young of year number in October, what happens spawning wise in the Chesapeake Bay. So that's on my mind following 6 bad years of spawning. What are we doing, and how are we being proactive to make sure enough fish are left in the system to fuel fisheries in the future? And as I've said in the past, I look at this as a tale of 2 fisheries. We have our bay fishery, which is largely gets our first whack at the fish when they're younger in the age cycles, and then occasionally get the bigger fish coming back that we choose to pursue in recreational and commercial fisheries, where on the coast they have big fish. And so we're utilizing different parts of the resource, and so we have a different perspective right now. And again, as you see, there's been great fishing on the coast. So again, stay involved, get involved. Thank you for following along with this update here at the end of February and into March. I look forward to seeing everybody out there at one of our events and getting involved in our local chapters, weighing in on public comments, and everything else we can do to work together to ensure the health and conservation of our resources and anglers' access to them. Thank you, and have a great day.